And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Trovo Challenge with GLL. I'm Lee Demis Smith, and joining me is Vansili for this finals day. We've had the European finals go to nolpenki in a tight, very tight best of three series. Went the distance, but in the end, nolpenki came back to win. And now, Vansili, we move on to America versus Canada.
We'll definitely keep the America, but then like a very nice Canadian polite grand finals with Way2French versus Oxygen Supremacy. I think it's going to be a banger of a matchup in this best out of three as well. I think, again, just like we saw in Europe, it's going to be a three-map series. Way2French have been around and together for the longest time. They've participated in beta tournaments as well as since the game came live, of course. They've always fallen short from qualifiers, but still put up some good fights against some Tier 2, closer Tier 1 teams in North America. So I expect a lot coming out of them. Oxygen Supremacy on the other end, we know about them from Counter-Strike scenes and stuff like that too, as we can look at the brackets to see how far they've come. But sorry. But Oxygen Supremacy, coming from the Counter-Strike scene, also was kind of new to me. Yes, they have some players that are MDL players, they're ESEA main, maybe a little bit higher on top of that too. They have the aim necessary, but I didn't know if they had the strategies necessary, and they did. So they got that win versus I-95. They got the win versus 303 Esports, as I mentioned to you before, that actually had a top 4 finish in one of the qualifiers in the past 2 of the beta. I think it was for the Immortals First Light, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But then Oxygen Supremacy did come out to fight, beat that one quite easily, beat Demon Time as well. It was a Counter-Strike versus Counter-Strike matchup. And then they come against Way2French. Way2French had a scare versus Team Underrated, but were able to bring it back there on that second and third map. Winning that third map 13-8, which is why we see this grand finals between these two teams.
So, I mean, just similar to the European side of things, it's obviously these, I wouldn't even say Tier 2, I would say Tier 3 Counter-Strike teams are the ones that are starting to come through early because they have that teamwork that they've brought from the Counter-Strike scene. It's very similar style of game, obviously. Just got the abilities to get used to the utils, instead of the flash smokes, you're going in with the smokes at the same side of style, but just figuring out the thing. But the main part is the gunplay, the taking sites, holding sites, retaking sites. That's all bred into them from the years of Counter-Strike that they've played at a good level.
That's right, for sure. And I'm just trying to look back at Oxygen Supremacy to see if we have any other history going through. But so far from Spike.gg, we've only seen them under the Trovo Challenge. So we don't have that much history in the past matches. I'm trying to remember which qualifiers those were, where 303 Esports also played. But it's still new. We're still new into the data as well, into this tournament and into these teams. But if you are in the North American scene, you kind of know these names, right? Like you're looking at Rebo, Sostin, Jacoboy, Mirari, and Finn that have been around for since the beta as well. And I think the roster themselves have been around for the longest time too. And there you go. Sorry, it was the CLG Blitz Cup number 2. Yeah, the Immortals First Light, the qualifiers that went through that we didn't know of was the mix-up team and also Echo 8, actually. My mistake on that one. So definitely 303 Esports, though, got picked up when they had a very good showing there towards the CLG Blitz Cups, and that's where they actually started to make a name, although it's already been scratched out by Oxygen Supremacy.
Well, we'll see how this one works out. Maps-wise, we're going to be having Ascent to begin with. That's Oxygen's map pick, which means obviously Way2French is going to be starting defense because everybody starts defense on Ascent because you can build up a massive, massive scoreline if you can play it right. We will be going to a second map. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. It's going to go Way2French's pick as Haven. I'll get back to the Ascent idea in a moment. And then Oxygen going to be starting defense. Basically, everybody chooses to start defense if they get the chance. And then the final map would be Bind, of course. But I think Oxygen, they've maybe looked at the other semi-finals yesterday, and for the Ascent score, they won the Ascent map, and Way2French lost theirs, albeit very close. I think it was 13-11, wasn't it, yesterday?
Yep. No, definitely. It was even 13-12 on the first map of Haven, actually, when we looked at that matchup versus Team Underrated. Going into Ascent, it was close on the first half, but then you saw Way2French starting to run away with the matchup, winning that one 13-8.
13-8.
So it was
13-8,
the,
yep.
13-8 that they won there against Team Underrated. When you're looking at Oxygen Supremacy, it was a 2-0 where it was on Ascent and on Haven. Ascent was 13-10 for Oxygen Supremacy that they won on Ascent too. So it's gonna be a good matchup, I think, nevertheless, in this one here. As we are actually live inside the map, we do have Way2French starting off here on the defender side with the curveball coming in on the attack, but looks like it's wide enough both sides. Incred and Mill getting 2 kills of their own to start things off, but it's traded off by Jerk. Moving forward inside this A site, you still have Incred, still alive, falling back inside the site. Moon on a big flank from their top rafters, running outside right now, but Melio is waiting just by the generator. 3 players die simultaneously, and Way2French kicks it off super fast.
Yeah, solid attack on the A site. I don't know how it is on the American side. How has been the mid control? Because in the European side, it's kind of just left. Nobody goes near it. It's just no man's land that everybody avoids.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because when you're looking at the North American scene, as you could tell right now, for example, with Oxygen Supremacy, they run stageless comps where they actually have now Omen and Brimstone to actually continuously throw smoke spores as mid side, so they could take control of mid, even smoke from the archway, then slowly smoke towards the pizza so they could split into B. So mid control is usually quite important here for North America, while for the defender side, though, as soon as they lose a little bit on towards that pizza, you see the stack happen back towards A or B.
I think this is the first Phoenix I've seen in this tournament. And actually, I'm trying to think of Rise of Titans on earlier in the week. I don't remember seeing a Phoenix at all, but Inox using it, which is surprising, really, because obviously, you know, with the flashes, does have the self-heal, has the run it back. He's a really useful ulti for information and doing the damage. So somewhat surprising, but it's going to be a mid-stack into B. Millie's going to use that Sky Smoke and push into it and hope that someone comes around. He's going to try and go aggressive directly behind them now as they charge in, and will get Moon down. Gets himself a second on KP as well. DSK will try and push through, but the damage has been done. Incred comes across, and the backstab has been absolutely crucial. Jerk with the classic, just hoping that he can land something, but not going to happen. And down he goes. Way2French with a solid second half. And I'm interested to see how this score's gone, because I've seen... I actually got to the point that I think an 8-4 is a good score on attack. Like losing 8-4, because I've seen 10-2s all too regularly here.
Oh yeah, in North America, you do see closer matchups on the half. I mean, 7-5, 8-4 is something that's very similar that we see just on Haven. And you asked a question there, D-Man. You said, what did he do with the mid side? So you saw that smoke there towards our archway, the smoke towards the pizza, and a 4-man push through the smoke to try to take market. That is something that happens a lot on pistols as well as rifle rounds too. But the pace is a little bit slower, but the result is still the same. This
play here that we're seeing with the push-up from Mill, this does not happen in Europe. Like, you won't see anybody here. The most you'll see is somebody back at spawn doing jump scouting and just looking down mid. They will stack out generally 3 on A and 2 on B.
Yeah, that sounds super passive. So that means that it's slow rounds, slow last-minute executions. Then I would assume as well on the European side, but it's slow as well in North America, because the mid control, it doesn't necessarily mean that you could aggress every single round, because you're still playing for information. And another thing here, as you mentioned, in terms of Phoenixes, we can talk about it in a sec. Though we have a couple of trades happening up towards long A. It's pretty much a buy going through for both ends. And the Spectres that they kept from that second round for Way2French. KP breaking this wall towards this mid side as we still once again want to take this mid control for a mid to B. Phoenix is going to fall back to pick up the spike, and we're going to move into this B site though, where only the Sova is winning towards that spawn side. So our dark cover is going to help them a lot. Nanos though still manages to get the kill onto KP. And what can it do now for Oxygen Supremacy?
Yeah, he got the bolt through, saw the information. Dark cover, they ain't going to stop you if you get spotted out by that arrow. Now Milgill get jerked down, can't get the spike plant in either. And a clean round and a bonus round as well. And they just lost the one using the Spectres against Phantoms and Vandals. Not good.
Yeah, that's it. And this is the change that we usually have for Way2French, because, like I said, in North America, we like to use the Phoenix. Way2French actually also likes to use the Phoenix too. With the exception of this map, when we saw them, we actually switched them out for a Sova player. And usually a Sova player is played by somebody like Mill, right, on the other maps. But this time, as he plays the Omen, a little bit more aggressive with the smokes too. They kind of need that double smoke, so they throw away the Phoenix, and then they also throw away a Raze, actually. Sometimes they have a Raze, or most often they have a Raze versus a Phoenix in the lineup, but they sacrifice the Raze so they can have the smokes from Mill. And then after that, the Raze is, or Nano, who's usually a duelist, is actually playing as an information player as Sova. So that's how they changed the strategy a little bit for Way2French, something that's new, at least for me, when I saw them and spectated them for the last weekend. But usually the main core, you'll see it in that second map.
Gets spotted out. Really quickly backs away from that one, but look at the position they're in. We'll find a single headshot, but the spray down comes in from Incred, gets himself the double with the Vandal, and it leaves KP hopeful that he can find a weapon or two. But he backs away and he's going to lose the Vandal instantly. And it was just the 2 weapons down for Way2French. They're really building some bank here on the defensive side.
And now, just to continue the conversation about Phoenix, right? One of the top players, at least for us in North America, possibly even the world at this point, is Drone, playing always as a Phoenix for TSM, the #1 rated team in North America. And while you're here then, D-Man, I'll say the #1 rated team in the world. So TSM, North American lineup, does have Canadians and Americans. They are dominating right now in the North American scene. They have a player in Drone that's always playing a Phoenix. He's so good with the curveballs to try to get entries. He's so good with the run-it backs, not only for information, but he always gets like 2 or 3 kills every time he ults with the run-it back. So that's why you're starting to see a couple of players in like the tier 2, tier 3 scene trying to mimic the way that TSM plays, which is why you see Phoenix a lot in the rotations too.
Yeah, I mean, they did win the T1 tournament convincingly, so safe to call them the #1 team right now, certainly in North America. I mean, in fairness, like I don't know how they would compare with say Fish123 or Fabricant or maybe G2
or even a G2 now,
once they complete their lineup. But the operator for Millie stops the Phoenix dead in his tracks, and now the mid play is going to be running straight into Incred, who's kind of been immovable so far.
Stuck inside Pizza. Incred gets picked off here by Moon. Here's that split towards his B side. Paranoia to come out from the Omen of Mill at the same time, though, as Yus decides to fall back. Nano as well inside the site. Orbital strike. Yus is going to stay alive, and they both stay alive. Big recon arrow that's going to give information on 4 players, but they're not spamming through the walls. They just want to go head-to-head on these battles. Their crossfire is perfect. 3 of them drop, 1 stay alive. DSK is the one that gets and opens up the B site, stuck on a 2 versus 1, but there's still plenty of time for a fake plant. But Melio pops up at the staircase. The crosshair is at the wrong position, and Melio wins that fight there for Way2French.
How did Nano get left in that corner for so long? They knew he was there, and he still managed to pop up and get the double. They were split between going for Yuz and Nano, and then just ended up losing 4 kills both ways. 5-0 start here. Solid defensive beginning from Way2French. I did question Way2French choosing Ascent. I gotta be honest. Seems a little strange choice for them. For Haven, their map. Yeah. Considering they lost, or more importantly, Oxygen won 13-4 in it, and they lost. Lost 13-12 in it yesterday. So, very interesting choice. But I guess once you got that favorite map, that's the way you go. And it's Haven's certainly the map that got played so much throughout the beta.
That's it. Haven for me is kind of like the Dust 2, right? Everybody loves to play that map. It's become a default map to play. Melio going to work with 3 kills as we have pistols on the round for the attackers. They open up B, or open up A at least, sorry. And all we want now is a spike plant. Jerk in a great position at least to try to damage a couple of opponents heading their way towards that Heaven side. Actually, all 3 of them are heading towards A. From their shadows coming out from the Omen of Mill at the same time too. So that tries to change them a little bit here. Actually, was just looking for information. Spots them both, a wall bang and a kill. Easy to fuse coming in right after for Way2French. And what was it that we were talking about just before the action?
I want to talk about, you brought up Dust 2. I want to talk about Dust 2 because we were talking about this with Jason. Flip the map around in the mini-map in the corner. It's Dust 2. This map is Dust 2. It's very similar in terms of actual layout. Obviously, you don't have the underpass.
Are you talking about this map?
Yes, this map, the layout of this map is very, very similar to Dust 2.
So close your eyes and look and think about this one instead. Close your eyes and think about this map, looking at the mini-map, that it's cash.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Volcano is there.
Exactly. So that was the debate that I had with Emo before when I was casting with him for the CLG Blitz Cup, and we're like, damn, what a shot there from Mill in the face of KP. First one to fall down, but traded out by the Link by Inox. So an early 4 versus 4 situation, but we still have an ultimate up for Way2French. They have a neural theft. We have 3 available for the attackers though, and here's the first one being used with the Hunter's Fury inside B.
I gotta be honest, I feel like I'm watching a public ranked game right now. There's very
We're
strange.
aggressive, man.
Yeah, well, it's just very strange with the lack of set plays. I would say at the moment, you know, there's a lot of open peeking going on for those aim battles, which you know, it's a final. You shouldn't be doing aim battles. You shouldn't be testing your skills against the other guy. You should be looking to win the game, and that's where the change is at the moment. 6-0, and now they're going to be pouring on outside. But Milio finally gets spotted out there, was staying very silent. Millie up in heaven, or scaffold, whichever you prefer. Got to stay quiet. The spike plant will go in, and now Inox going to pop the flames down and prevent the push from Millie. Support comes in, but it's going to be a triple stack in heaven. I'm not sure I agree with that style. And they will finally wrap 2 around, but you got to assume that the door is down. They've got to smash that down and try and work the way in.
Yeah, they're going to clear out towards the catwalk at the same time too. There we go. That door's been busted, but they have great positioning here from the crossfire. 2 towards A main on the crossfire, 1 inside Wine, 1 on the left side by the orb. Nice shot there from Mill onto Mundo, and a second one onto use. The wall's going to come up too, but the Molly's on the ground.
Jerk's just going to wait. Going to teleport himself across. Where's he going to move to? Not going to work out. The delay was enough, and they won't get the defuse through, and they're actually going to lose the operator, I think, as well. Yes, they will. Nano goes down. So finally, Oxygen Supremacy get themselves the round on the board. I was laughing because Mill was the one who was trying to shoot the wall down. It's like, meanwhile, Jbzzz with a Vandal wasn't shooting the wall. It's like, really? You're going to let your operator try and knock that wall door down?
It does damage. I guess at that point a little bit more than trying to move forward. But I guess, I don't know, trying to clear a corner with the op too. Maybe that's why they didn't have that much in terms of the right firepower to try to bust that door down. Of course, if it was 2 rifles, it was going to be a lot easier. We could talk about Haven a little bit there because or a little bit later because we are going to eventually get to that map, so we can talk about that later. Let's focus on this matchup here. So it's 6-1 for Way2French. They've won, 6 rounds in a row until it's finally broken. So they have plenty of money to work with. They have 3 ultimates at the same time. And like you said here, they like to actually go for these aggressive peaks. It's always body peaks. The Counter-Strike style continues on with this game of Valorant for the North American scene. So you kind of have body peaks, but for some of the teams, they're a little bit more organized where usually they'll put the smoke down towards that mid side, right? That was something that was missing on that previous round when they did have a Brimstone and an Omen for Oxygen Supremacy.
Well, they're still lingering. I feel this is going to be a B play. Jbzzz is going to get very busy. Spike's still loose over that way. They will dark cover the mid and push in on the back of it. Jbzzz will go for the play through there, and it will be a clean push through because there's nobody scoping or watching or looking at mid. Not even remotely getting the information play over there. Going to be hearing the shots from Inox, so giving the information that there is still somebody here. And the slow rotate play is coming. The Brimstone's having a look. He's got his orbital strike available, and that can cover the majority of B sites, so this could be a worry for Oxygen.
Definitely, and there you go. It comes down. Frost Orb at the same time, too. Inox to fall from the orbital strike. Jbzzz trying to push through. He's going to come head-to-head with the spike carrier who never checked the corner. Now there's no time. Mill gets the operator kill onto KP, but the 2 guys that made it inside the site do not have the spike with them. So it's going to be trade after trade, but in the end, Mill still wins it before the time runs out. So 7-1, that should reset the economy back for Oxygen Supremacy, where, you know what? Let's not discredit them. Let's not discount them yet. We saw Inox, at least I saw Inox in the chat yesterday, popped in, said, hey, Vansley, what do you think about the matches? I'm actually not scared at all for Way2French. We're not scared of any of the teams. So right now, 7-1, it's just for them to be like, okay, well, we'll find some time to recuperate and we'll bring it back. So it's far from over right now in terms of what Oxygen Supremacy could do in terms of a comeback. I think they're far from being pressured from the scoreline. As
I say, I've got very used to seeing sort of 10-2. 8-4 I count as actually a very good attacking side, losing 8-4, because this is such a heavy, if you lose that pistol, it's such a heavy defensive sided map. It just seems like the retakes are clean half the time. A is probably the trickiest to retake of the both of them. B generally seems to be relatively clean retaking. Emilio has been doing a fantastic job. Look at that. Spots it, doesn't repeat. I love it. Incred though. We'll catch him out. That's cheeky with the pistols going in. Mill does try and get the door shut, but didn't manage to click the button in time. And that was a hot shot from Mill, and that leaves DSK caught in the paranoia. Just waiting for them to come. 22 hit points is all he has, but he gets the quick shot on DSK, and now a 2v3. If he can land the first onto Jbzzz, it could be big, but Jbzzz will survive, and they will rescue the operator and get the defuse. 8-1. But that was an eco. That was an expensive eco for Way2French to lose 3 players.
Definitely. And I also liked actually that spike plant or that position. I don't see that spike plant going there quite often, but as soon as it's there, it's in a great angle if you're able to fall back towards the A main. It's in a great angle if you're able to fall back and hold towards the garden side too. The only part that's hard to get from is if you're trying to go for a big flank, you get some kills at the rafters. You could wallbang at least, so it's still in a great position for that plant. I think it's going to be better right now for teams to start to notice that that spike plant at that area is probably better than the generator.
Default set. Looking down mid, seeing if they can gain any information. Nano does. Going to try and get a shock bolt in the backside of Inox there. But Inox goes for the cheeky peek and catches Jbzzz off guard there. A little wallbang into sight, and that's going to give the option. They've got the pick. That's what they're looking for with the default strat. Look at this, Mill. Just the other side. Is there a gap in that wall? There is. There is a gap in that wall. Doesn't look like the player's going to push through, though.
They're even using the Owl drone to spot it out. Even the shots, that's going to give a good position here for Mill to push forward. While Nano lands the Hunter's Fury onto a second one, but only to kill onto Inox at least. So it was the Omen that was slightly tagged down to about 70% health points, hit points. Is going to fall back towards his mid side, where we still have the Sova on the other end for Oxygen Supremacy trying to clear it out. And this is good. I haven't seen Mill hit that many shots so accurately with the operator lately. And to see him not miss a single one yet is amazing to watch. This is looking very good for Way2French, showing that they really want to get this $5,000 in North America for the grand finals of the Trovo Challenge. At least now, the moment of salvation for Oxygen Supremacy, we get the spike down, we get 300 credits into the next round. We've lost so many rounds in a row already, so we should be good for rifles in this next.
9-1. This is a big half as I get a cat on my lap out of nowhere. Just, I know.
It's not done yet, D-Man. I said it was going to be close, right?
No, honestly, I mean, it really will depend on obviously the pistol at this stage. Like, if Oxygen Supremacy can pick up the pistol, they could easily set themselves up a run on the defensive side as well. So, not going to count him off, but like you say, 17 kills so far from Mill. He's doing absolute magnificent on the operator so far, landing just about every shot he takes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think that's why we don't see that much mid presence going on here for the attacker side of Oxygen Supremacy. Wherever Mill goes, he's just landing his shots. Finally, they put a camera up, so that's going to be safe right now for them to take this mid. But Mill, meanwhile, pushed down towards his B entrance and still connected with an op shot onto his opponent. Now we have a running back for information. A Hunter's Fury at the same time, too. Melio falls inside A, but a rotation's already there. So Mill's already at heaven with the operator. Inox is being slowed. He was trying to go for a curveball towards his tree so that they could split into A. But as things calm down, they're going back to mid.
Yeah, they're going to try and rotate into B site. There will only just be the one man there. Nano cut off at the moment by the side of the cage. Oh, and he's actually going to push through with the spike? What are you doing?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right, America.
I mean, with the time that remains, right? You know that somebody was close. The silver arrow came out for the recon arrow. You know exactly who was going to be behind the cyber cage. So getting the audio cue from running through the cage, not a problem. We could probably still win this from a trade, but they were a little bit too split out on that double peek inside that spawn side. I think a quick kill would have given them a chance to get a spike plant and better post positioning too, right? So I think that was the idea behind that. And also due to the fact that they were losing 9-1, so they want to try to get at least something done.
Just so let's run blind through it. Let's just blindly run through that. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah. Okay. Well, Way2French. If they close this out with 11, this would be very tough for Oxygen Supremacy to come back from. And Way2French. This wasn't even their map choice. It was Oxygen Supremacy's map choice.
Yeah. Big shout out at least to the people in the Trovo chat. I see a lot of support from Oxygen Supremacy here in the channel. So don't give up, guys. Give them your energy. Put those emotes in the Trovo. I saw a lot of mana train while you guys were casting their demand. So hopefully we're going to see that as well for this matchup for Oxygen Supremacy to hopefully bring this into at least a comeback. Let's call it a comeback before a third map because we still have a second half to play.
Yeah, that was the English fans coming in for Esoteric. That was in the mana trying to go big there. But Incred gets jerked down to start things off, and that's a worrisome time for Oxygen Supremacy. They've got the ult to lay down. There's going to be the orbital strike, but they will push straight onto Incred, and that's going to get them the site information. Milio's still back on the site, and he gets caught out by KP as well. Millie comes in and misses a shot. Would you believe it? This is looking like a round.
Yeah, definitely. We had Orbital Strike after Orbital Strike 2 trying to slow him down towards the A main, but it just seems that it was a lot better going in for Oxygen Supremacy, especially when you had a Neural Theft being thrown there from Oxygen Supremacy that gives him a chance to spot Melio in the back of the site, open up that area. Mill only had 10 HP on top of that too. So now in a 4 versus 3, they're going to try to move in on this retake. Of course, it's the last round of the half, so you have to go for it. Yus is trying to come through, spraying through the wall. We're making a lot of audio cues through the cyber cages too. And Nano's coming in from heaven though. That's 2 kills, and now that's a 3-on-2, but now they've wasted too much time. That molly on the ground was probably just enough for them to win the round, and that's the only 2 rounds that they were able to win, thanks to Moon with a molly on the bomb.
Well, and Millie missing the shot.
Yeah, that's you.
Probably the first one he missed of the half. So 10-2, the half score. Way2French. As I say, I've actually got to the point where I'm kind of almost used to a 10-2 score. I don't look too far into this one. It feels like early days Train and Nuke and that sort of thing for CS:GO. So very defensive sided. We'll see whether it can be swung back in the opposite direction for Oxygen Supremacy. Of course, if they lose the pistol, we could be looking at a potential 12-2, and then the map just might run away from them because they left it too late. But if they can get themselves a strong defensive half here, we'll see whether they can swing it back to potentially overtime.
Yeah, definitely. Oxygen Supremacy now, we could see why. Let's see why they chose this map, especially now that they have the defender side too. They have the Brimstone, they have the Omen, they don't have a Sage. So when we thought that this comp was good here for the attacker side, let's see if it's actually useful for the defender side too. And it starts off well. We have the first one, Mill, to fall down, and then KP, the second one, onto the front. And Cred, though, trades it out. KP as well with 10 HP runs back, but he has no heal. 2 players now inside the market for Way2French. Molly on the ground. They spot the top of the haircut of the Sage, and now they're going to try to battle her down. And KP manages to get a 4K with the Ghost in his pistol, and they stay alive. Let's see if the energy continues.
Yep, it's the round they needed. So let's see if they can start things off. Nobody on the double figures yet, so that just shows how grim that first half was. DSK, though, with the 9 kills. A big 4K for KP, considering that's literally just doubled KP's kills. He had 4 in the first half after that. But again, as I say, once you get on that defensive side, it can turn things around. But I will say this. A strong ability charge can pay off and work on the B site. But, well, when you're going to run straight into Jerk's Bulldog spray in mid, you're not going to get much from that one. Aoki could just push in the back and get the lot there.
That's right. Aiming down the site. KP doing the same thing too. Burst shots as you aim down the site with the Bulldog. Mill is the last man standing. At least picks up the Phantom, but gets shot in the back again. So both Bulldogs biting for Oxygen Supremacy on this catwalk, and B hold on the market allows Oxygen Supremacy to add another one to the tally. But that means that they haven't lost that many players. They only lost 1. So I don't know if the upgrade is really going to come because they're so far behind in this spread, in this matchup, that I don't think they could afford to actually go for these upgrades and throw away the Spectres and the Bulldogs. Tough round coming up.
They've got to go for the bonus round, see if they can carry the weapons through, make it work for them, and then buy them in the next round regardless of what happens. So Incred going for the quick early peek will get caught by the cyber cage as he pushes on straight through it though. And that is the thing so many people got to get used to. The fact that these smokes, you know, aggressive players will just keep going through them. It's not a wall. It's not going to stop you. And they will just push on through and it's going to be the big mid play. Inox will get the one sole peeker over on A. But other than that, the triple going to be pushing into B.
Yeah, double peek there towards that A to contest the orb. The wall comes up. The execution comes in towards this B side. Jerk pretty much stepping up for his Kamehameha, as you can see him here, getting ready to throw it. One onto the tripwire. KP still stays alive. Finally, it's thrown inside that site for that paranoia. But Mill and Nano are still going to work. KP in the back of the site still wins that fight versus Mill. Only one player falls, I guess, on this defense, and one on the rotate as well. We have a 10-5 scoreline now with Oxygen Supremacy. The non-upgrade that they had paid off because they upgraded with weapons of their own from that hold.
Yeah, Jerk, I think he caught possibly a triple paranoia there. Moon stepping through straight after it, which is why he benefited from the double kill, though, blinded out. But we're going to see a mid-peak here from Jerk. There's only the solo man looking back his way. I tell you, it was two with the sheriffs. Tricky to peek against the sheriff. You can easily lose your head against that. But KP, ooh, that spray has netted him a kill on Nano.
Hate to see it. Paranoia to come out towards this catwalk area as well as Moon is holding towards that garden. He's going to get a molly on the ground, so he's going to waste it early as we do have some sort of a mix buy going in. Shock dart coming in from DSK.
Oh.
That's going to connect. Jumping on the wall that was set there by the Sage. We managed to get all of the kills necessary towards this A side, leaving one sole player stuck inside tree. Beautiful leaves, though, falling down there from this tree. I never noticed those details. Never had a chance or the time to look at those, because usually that area is so hectic, and there you go. Incred gets the trade-off, but it's still going to be Oxygen Supremacy's round, who've won 4 in a row, mind you, Healy, on the attacker side, on defender side, sorry.
Yeah, graphically, this is the art on this map is very good. There's a lot of little Easter eggs tucked away. You know, the bench kench and the little dinner tables, etc., laid out with all the statues, etc. There's so much little bits of information and stuff, and the fact that you can have those aerial shots, the roofs are filled in. It's not just like completely cut out textures. It's actually proper roofs, etc. So it's very nice. But this is what we're talking about, right? Once Oxygen win out that pistol, they can really build bank on the defensive half. It's just that map. That map style works. I feel that right now, nobody's kind of figured out those big set plays to burst in on site and secure the site with minimum losses. That seems to be the big issue at the moment.
I totally agree with you, because when it comes down to slow play and mid control, yes, you get it. But when you actually come into A or B, it's a bloodbath every single time. Unless you're able to get the first pick, it's just literally an aim duel that dictates the take into A or B towards that mid round. So as you can see right now from this mini-map, they have taken sort of the mid control to start things off. They push the Brimstone down towards the spawn. Then they move out towards Catwalk for a split into A. There's 2 players waiting there, but it could still be a bloodbath moving in. Orbital strike to come down too. Jerk is staying right behind it, trying to wait as soon as it dissipates to see if he can pick somebody off. Spots the first one as Milio's walking through. Nice. DSK with the crossfire, and there you go. Here comes Nano and Use. Trade it all out. The bloodbath starts. Everybody's seeping blood here from both teams. And now the door has been closed. We are going to get the spike down with 23 seconds left onto the clock. But Moon has already broken that door and also damaged the stage down to about 20 HP before she heals up. She also has a res if she wants to right now, which could give a chance here for Use to make it back on a 4-on-3 situation for Way2French.
Tricky retake, though. Very tricky retake. They've got to get all the angles at the right time. It doesn't get caught. Mill gets one. Use gets the second, and now this is a problem. Use will get a triple. Stepping it up here was the B defender, a quiet B defender for a long time. It's going to get the eco res as well on Incred to get that extra weapon coming through for Way2French, and they get that important 11th round.
Much needed, definitely. The money came through. Still, we have Inox that had so much money here on this round. Could buy an operator. We saw that it looked like it was going to be a double operator setup. I'm wondering as if it's still dropping on the ground, and they're just going to keep it at 1 because KP actually had below 1500 pretty much. They really needed to make sure that everybody has a rifle going through. So a double off setup will not come in, but you could definitely tell that that could be one of the options that it could take to on this map on Ascent on defender side.
Pressure on Oxygen. They've got a lot of ults stacked up. Try and make this work. But the problem with this sort of setup map, if... Oh, Inox, he's just pushed straight through. He's got to get punished by that, and he will. Run it back. Give him the information he needed, but... Jbzzz was ready and waiting. Not really sure that's the right time to use it. I mean, what are you gaining? There's people in mid. No shit. It's like, surprise. It's like, I don't really understand the whole use of that run it back there.
Yeah. I think at the same time as information, it's like, can I at least get 1 kill with me? But with
maybe,
that,
yeah.
They're going to get 2 kills here with Jerk at the A main. Traded off finally here by Jbzzz, who are moving inside the site. Nano putting a recon arrow on the top of the site, sees that it's clear, so it should be a plant, but a Brimstone. Orbital strike to come down just to slow down the pace just a bit. Inox is just around the barrier wall, and it's looking quite good here for the defenders to overtake this D-man.
Flashed himself. That's me right there. Gonna flash the corner. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay, Mills actually spotted out here. Neuro Theft's gonna get used, so Mills in trouble. He's gonna get pushed down, and that should be the round. Going over to Oxygen Supremacy. Plenty of time to get that defuse in. So the retake's strong. The defense, I feel that maybe it's so weird, right? That you can take the sites so cleanly, yet you just can't hold them sites. And I think that's it, right? Because you can take them, that means the defenders can retake them so cleanly as well. It's so hard. There's not really any strong defensive positions to hide from because there's so many angles that can get you.
Yeah. I think no matter what crossfire you're setting up, it's still easier for somebody to white swing and win that against you from the way that I think about it. Because for example, if you're trying to fall back towards A main and you're trying to play safe, you still don't want to show yourself onto heaven. So you're going to have to play more towards the orb side wall or playing towards wine, and then wait for the spike to actually get attempted to defuse, then you peek out. So fake defuses happen a lot, and then you re-peek from those ones as well. You don't really have a positioning pulse plant that gives you an upper hand.
Hello?
Because that's a lot of action happening. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, Incred just kind of walked around. Just caught them completely off guard there. Incred will get himself the triple as well, but the spike carrier was taken down, so he's going to have to get himself that spike picked back up. But it's a one-on-one. And I've got to be honest, well, DSK knows where he is, but this is a tricky fight. 72 health, but Incred's going to make it count. A Thrifty comes through. And that's really just a B play that B defense was just napping. I mean, you saw him. You saw Incred come in. We had the perfect angle. He came round, and they were both looking the other way.
Even I was napping too, because I'm just babbling while he's just going in and clearing up the site. No, so he caught a lot of people off guard in that one. A great play there by Incred.
He's doing sky smokes. He's doing sky smokes.
Moon had his iPad out, and because of that, that caught everybody out of position. And although DSK from that recon owl saw where Incred was at, Incred had the exact idea of where his opponent was at too, simply just because he saw from where the owl drone was deployed. So he actually decided to bring that fight towards him, 1 versus 1, instead of trying to go for the safe plant, and it paid off. So a high risk, high reward. That puts Way2French towards this map point situation where they could win this one on Oxygen Supremacy's map pick. So into this round, the mid control comes in. Not sure how the economy right now is for the defenders, but it's still looking like, yeah, look, you have a stinger. So a double up and a stinger. So when they wanted to have the double up before, they could have had a double up Spectre. Now they have a double up stinger. And we'll see if that's going to pay off here for the team.
Sky Smoke's come down onto KP. That's going to force the operator to go close, and that's not ideal. It's going to have to be pinpoint with his flick shots. Not going to land the first one, so he's just going to have to back away and try the no-scope. Look, doesn't work out for him. And Nano and Incred have already picked up the double. As KP will be able to hop on the back of this. That's why I do question that wall, actually. It almost gives the boost to the defensive side. But I've seen it used so many times, and it just doesn't really work out. KP! Up close, gets yours down. The refrag comes in from Incred, but Inox is there. And the defuse comes in, and Oxygen hold on for another round.
Yeah, so I think if they want to have a better wall, I wonder, no, not even. I was going to say, do you want to put it perpendicular to the staircase? But it could still become a self-boost. So the 3 times that we saw the wall were 3 times where people could just jump over it. So there's a much better use for just smoke it out, get into the A site, close the door, then put the wall behind the door. Right? As soon as the wall breaks, put the wall behind that too. You could save a little bit more time at the same time as well.
The reason they're using it at Garden is so they can have the one guy covering off the mid link, right? That's where they want a defender there, which is why they're using the wall there. But they could still quite easily use it on site and keep that guy mid link. Yes, he's going to be separated from his team, but they're going to be so focused on getting the wall and the door down that he can then get the backstab.
That's right. Run it back, though, from Inox. That's what I'm talking about. Getting 2 kills onto Millen and Cred. Moon with the Bulldog, and it's a pistol round coming in for the attackers, who do manage to get 2 kills from Melio, but then Jerk finally cleans it up. Clean up on aisle middle, pretty much. All the bodies, rather, ended up right at that archway.
How's their economy? Because, I mean, yeah, they picked up the rounds. Yeah, that's going to say that's probably not the greatest. Okay, it's all right. KP can buy for them. So, yeah, KP buys weapons for both Jerk and Inox there. So, they're okay, but either team lose this round and it's curtains. Obviously, it doesn't matter for Way2French because they still just need the 1 round and they're done. I still question it for Way2French. Obviously, we're moving on to Haven next. We'll get to that debate because I still don't think it's that strong a map for them, looking at their historic results in comparison to Oxygen. But Oxygen right now going aggressive once again. Inox pushing in, but look at that. Yeah, I'm going to say Incred is actually tucked in the corner. So if he did go aggressive, he chose to back away. Tried to just try and play the smoke and maybe draw the attention, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, hopefully, especially from the corner that you're at of where Incred is, when you're playing the 50-50 angle, it's very rare that people will turn left. But now here comes Orbital Strike, Hunter's Fury, Inox with a 4K immediately, but then Use trades it out. DSK still alive, final boss inside the site, headshot onto Use, and just like that, we're actually 2 rounds away from bringing this to sudden death. I think the economy should be once again broken. Yep. It was kind of expensive for the attacker side of Way2French, yeah.
Okay, like, I've seen this position used far too many times in these tournament matches, and nobody seems to check it, because you saw it there. As soon as they look this way, just quickly crouched, and nobody actually checks it because they're trying to rush through. But guys, there's 5 of you pushing through the doorways, 2 different doorways. Somebody has to physically go and check that corner, because I have seen people getting triples and quads from that spot too many times now.
Yeah, it's they have to check the corners. That's the name of the game when you're playing a game like this as well, right? I talked about 50-50 corners from Cred is that, where you got to check that corners of where it's often just at the bottom of the barrels, where actually like the top of the head could be barely seen, depending on where you're coming out from that garden side. So you have to push out a little bit more, but from pushing out, you give yourself not a good advantage because he still has crosshair placement over you. Nonetheless, though, Hunter's Fury to come through, and that's a TK.
It's just like...
Yeah, you can see that, you know, I talked about how
he's like, yes, I've got one. Oh shit, sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying not to bash him too much for that one, right?
I mean,
but at the same time, you kind of have to. You kind of have to. I do agree. You're
kind of using your ulti on match point, but Millie's popping off. Hello, we'll finally go down. Yeah.
No, so
Grey Hunter's Fury.
I don't know, man. There's not even a Sage on the opposite team. So you see the highlight of a Sage when you're hitting it.
The ponytail is there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So when I said,
gotcha.
Yeah, no. So when we talked about Oxygen Supremacy, keeping their veins cool into the defensive side, we could see that when it comes down to a comeback, the nerves are starting to get lost here for Way2French. They're now 1 round away. We're going to distance in this final round to decide who's going to win this. Is it going to go to sudden death, or can we finally close the deal for Way2French? I've seen this scenario before for Way2French. This is stressful. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes.
Yeah, I mean, if Way2French don't close this out, they've lost the game, because, you know, the fact is the defensive side, you know, 10-2s, both halves. It proves that, and this goes into the whole overtime 1 round crap that's in the game right now. It's like because this map is so weighted, it's not a fair 1 round game, because Oxygen Supremacy clearly have a massive advantage if they get there. But they've got to pick up this round. They've got to hold out. They've got to defend.
And at least they have the money to work with into this last round. So Use is going to try to spot it out. We do have the teleport coming in from Omen, getting that information, so they can solo it out. But that means that they could split into this B side. Moon opens it up. That's 2 players falling down towards Pizza. So the last 3 have to try to rush through towards B main. But now there's already so much opposition. 4 players. It's a pentagon actually around that site. They get it on a flawless victory on top of that to bring it into sudden death.
Yeah, that's what I think of it. my cat agrees. My cat agrees. And, you know, they had 4 ultis. Did they use any? They did. Okay, they used From the Shadows, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, the orbital strike went. I think he. No, he didn't. I don't think he.
No,
I think he clicked it. I think he was literally mid casting and it didn't go off.
Yeah.
So massive advantage, as I say, for the defensive side. Oxygen Supremacy, while 10-2 both halves. It's just the way this map is. It's still needs a bit of work. Still needs a bit of work.
Yeah, I actually don't really mind it, because when you look at other maps or other games that we've casted, for example, in Counter-Strike, when Nuke in 1.6,
Yeah.
a 13-2 half is really normal, I think it's fine too. Like, give it a chance for defenders to just have an easier side as well, and you go down to these battles. I don't know why you want to try to make maps easier for attacker side
That's
too.
it.
I do like that you had that variety where teams could be like, look, we're a defensive sided team. We like maps like these where we could just keep it under our belt and make sure that we could guarantee one map in the map pool where we're going to be stronger than others.
I would say from the pick perspective, the teams that are picking into Ascent have got to realize that they're not going to have the defensive side to start with, and that's the scary part, I would say, for it. But and the fact is that overtime is complete and utter rubbish on this map because it's so weighted. But yeah, I mean, Train obviously ended up being balanced out, didn't it?
Yeah.
DSK, Emilio going down. DSK will get chased down by Incred, so it's a 1-for-1, but you can see the rotates already coming in. And I think this is the problem, right? It takes so long to get in on site that the rotate's already there. They're not going to get the spike down before the backup has already arrived. It is a straight 3v3 though. Let's see if Incred can go big here. I feel he may have it in him. He's the one that's being backing away and covering a passive defensive side.
All 3 of them getting ready to come through that sliding door for Oxygen Supremacy. Great positioning for Way2French as they have a double towards Hell. Incred holding towards 1 is going to be the first point of contact. The double peak comes forward, and now it's a 2 versus 1. This is it. They have an orbital strike. It's going to be impossible. Unless KP wins this fight against the Brimstone, if Incred wins this one here, it's over.
Really well played by Incred.
That's
Backs himself away and gets himself the 4K in overtime. And would you believe it? Would you believe it? Way2French, 10-2. And when it gets to overtime, they deliver an Incred. I had an inkling. I said Incred could win it here. He just backed away.
Yeah.
And for the first time, they had enough people to cover the site at the right angles.
They just wanted to make it exciting for the stream, D-Man.
They wanted to drag out an extra 12 rounds just to make it exciting. Cheers for that.
No, but like I said, right? Calm composure, I really like it here. If you're looking at it, if it wasn't for Mill and Incred, they were carrying the team. Look at the rest of look at everybody else there. It was all red following those 2 players. Everybody else from Oxygen Supremacy did their job, did what they could. I mean, DSK, KP, they had amazing holds there towards this mid side, towards that B side too. I think the few times when we had spike plans for the attacker side of Way2French all happened towards the A side. I don't think I've seen one single defuse come in on the B side. So the most chances of success for Way2French were on the A side, but they kept trying to work mid control, B control, and being fully denied. They should have switched that a lot faster. But like I said, maybe it was just to make the stream entertaining.
Yeah, and there wasn't actually, when you think of Oxygen, there wasn't really a great deal of operator play. Obviously, we saw Billy landing shot after shot after shot. I think he had 19 kills in the first half, whereas very different style of defensive style, very much in your face with the Vandals, more importantly. KP, again, by the way, from that same spot, just pointing out, KP with a 4K from the exact same spot. Like, if people don't check it, it will absolutely cost you.
They even used the wall to their advantage to get kills. I think they should have learned that, because that was like the second time that the wall went up and the second time they got a kill from that one. So I think they should have learned from that for Way2French and started
did you see
not
that?
posting that wall anymore. Yeah.
That's Incred picking up another attacking round. So Incred got 2 very important attacking rounds on the with 2 4Ks. both sides. Inox with a 4K there.
That was the best kill of the game.
Oops.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate, but it was definitely good games for both of these teams. We wanted a good grand finals. We definitely got a good grand finals. This one going the distance. The next map that we're about to see is going to be Haven, picked by Way2French. This is going to be an exciting one too. I mean, D-Man, you were saying there that Haven, not sure why a team like Way2French is picking that map. Like I said, kind of like the Dust 2, everybody likes to play it. They're decent on it as well. Maybe they're not like at a high 80%, 90% win rate, but they're still getting good wins out of it. When they played it yesterday versus Team Underrated, they were actually in the lead 12-8. Then Team Underrated came back, brought it to sudden death, then they lost 13-12. So when I saw like a 12-6 or whatever it was on this map right now, I was like, oh no. Don't tell me this is happening. It's like 12-8, 12-9, 12-10. I was like, no, they're going to lose this at sudden death. So that was like, that's why I was starting to stress out for Way2French. And I think that's why they were a little bit nervous too. And we saw those TKs coming in from the Hunter's Fury. But thankfully, they're able to win that last round in sudden death, win that first map in the series. That's not their map pick. And then move on to Haven. That's their map pick. Although Haven, still a very strong map for Oxygen Supremacy as well.
Well, just like the European finals, we had overtime on the first map. That was on split 13-12. That went the way of the eventual winners. Let's see if that's an omen for Way2French. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're moving on to Haven. See you in a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, through the Trovo Challenge. I'm Leading Smith, and joining me is Vasily for the America's final, I should say, not the semi-final. Way2French take themselves the first map in overtime, 13-12, and we are now moving on to Haven, Vasily, where I was a little confused by Way2French's map pick, especially when Oxygen won, I think it was 13-4 on this yesterday in the semi-final.
Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter who they play at this point, because when both teams are super comfortable on Haven, they just want to play their best game, right? So if they feel it, and especially if Milla is feeling his operator like he is right now, it could definitely help for them onto this side of Haven. Oxygen Supremacy, though, when they won at 13-4 or whatever, I think it was against Demon Time, if I'm not mistaken. Demon Time, or maybe it was 303 Esports, either or. But that matchup instead, I mean, the caliber between 303 Esports, I'm not going to take anything away from them, but them versus Way2French, you can see that the Way2French are definitely the stronger team when you compare the both. So I think the matchup will be close no matter what, because we've seen a very close game on Ascent before. But I still think that there'll be a better showing from Way2French versus Oxygen Supremacy than 303 Esports versus Oxygen Supremacy.
Well, we'll see how this one works out. Of course, some solid play. I think it was in what's his name? Incred. Sorry.
Incred, yeah.
Incred, yeah. That was spectacular for me. But obviously, we know what Haven's like. It's all about the triple sites. We are going to see a double Sage, double Cypher, just a single Sova. So the Breach being used instead by Oxygen. Supremacy, both with the Brim, and only a Raise. And again, I guess Inox is sticking onto his Phoenix and seeing if he can make it work. Going aggressive at the start.
Yeah, definitely. And now it's aggressive towards this mid side. Inox is going to try even to hide under the window, which is a good spot unless they check it here with the Sova drone. But they're walking towards this garage. They're not really looking at it. There you go. I think Nano is looking. There you go. Nano, does spot him, headshots him, and that's the first to fall. So they're going to pick up the spike at the same time, too. They're going to take a garage control. All four players, actually, and the fifth one just holding behind. So I don't know if it's going to be a fake for them to head back towards B, but so far, they've sold the rotate.
KP boosted, sees them, doesn't go for the second peek, no reason to, can just step away. We talked about how strong the wall can be at slowing things down. Will force a lot of shots to go through, and Incred gets popped off. KP doing his job. The blast pack in the end will do its job. And now they're actually going to try and rotate around into that C site. They will have the position covered off. Emilio should be able to find himself an easy one on DSK. The second shot is the one that counted. And now they've got to push through double doors. This should be a Way2French round.
That's right. Nice lurk there from Melio to clear out the C side. So it's fake after fake. The trade comes through. They're going to give the information know where the last player is. It's going to be Jerk towards the garage. Even a Boombot on top of that confirms that he's actually in an open area down towards the hallway of C garage. Now Jerk is going to decide to go towards the back, but he spots a camera as well as a recon arrow. And now he's just going to keep the spy cam on him for now, hoping that somebody's going to chase forward so he can at least get some econ damage, some money in his bank, and also building up the ultimate points. But that spike is going to go off, and Way2French has a good start here on the attacker side.
Jerk with the shot. He actually makes it work out, and he get a third on the exit. Nope, can't make it work. Nano will get him down. And Way2French do take the pistol on the attack inside. And, well, we saw some pretty decent defensive halves, but some very strong attacking halves as well earlier on. Nano with the triple starting things off. Is he going to invest anything big with that money? Or is it just going to be a Spectre? It's probably just a Spectre.
Yeah, and DSK is going to switch over to a breach too, playing on the defender
saving
side.
For the op. Saving for the op. I guess because he's the highest.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's the highest money, I guess he's saving for the op for Mill.
Yeah. So what's changed here is you see DSK playing as a breach. Also, as I mentioned to you before, Nano likes to play the Raze when you're actually having a regular map, quote-unquote. So he is playing for the Raze, and then that means that the Sova is going to be utilized by Mill, as you see him pull out the Owl drone towards the C site. It's open. Flash curveball coming in from the Phoenix side to clear out towards the short A. So it's going to be a full rotate coming in for the defenders. 5 men as they split out now, just looking for exit kills.
Pushing around with the big hold on long. I mean, a 5 stack for exit kills, it's a little strange. Especially when they're basically on a full save eco pistol round. You'd think they'd try and get a little bit more from this, but I guess once they lost the sight because they did the stack, it's just not worth. Mill, of course, the one hanging on to the pistol. Incred should be able to get the spray down as long with Jbzzz. And they do indeed try on the site. It was like one of those things where they try and run the timer down and leg it in at the end, but did pay off. Jerk, not too sure what he's planning on saving in the corner there. He's a long way from the rest of his team.
Yeah, exactly. I think because of that wall that came up towards that spawn side, decided to fall back for a bit. Nothing he could do there. Bought a bunch of abilities too that he could carry over to this round, which means that the only thing he needs to invest in is the armor and the Vandal, totaling of 2,900 credits. So they're going to be fine on the full buy here, as you can see from the overhead. That's 4 Phantoms, make that 5 Phantoms for the defender side here of Oxygen Supremacy. So quite interesting. Okay, 1 Vandal, 2 Vandals. Okay, so that's a bug here with the Observer. You go overhead, it looks like 5 Phantoms. You hit the scoreboard, it's 2 Vandals. So that's a nice little bug that we could let Riot know.
Yeah, that one's been in there a while. It's one of many that are in there, unfortunately. Oh, Jerk, he got caught out by the aftershock there. And he will get the information. Gonna get the shot dart down, but chipped down to 9 health. Not what he was planning for, was he's popping those 2 arrows out. And that's caused problems. Of course, they haven't invested too much into this one. Way2French is more of the bonus round, we prefer to call it. Nano will get the trade, and whoa, Jbzzz peeks out. And that's a double Vandal down now there, so that's a problem. Moon's going to try and push through Link. Looks like there's going to be one pushing into Heaven as well. But with the spike plant coming in, it's already a great round for Way2French.
That's right. At least they don't have any Hunter's Fury 2. They don't have any of the Neural Theft. And good thing on the defenders, too, they don't have any special abilities as well either. So they're going to hold 2 people under Hell, which is quite interesting how that's playing. I know they have that camera up, so we'll see if Cypher could utilize that to their advantage. But here comes the aftershot that shouldn't hit a lot of people. That means they're not even going to check that corner first. They won't even check that double corner after DSK gets that first kill. So great positioning after all by Way2French by doubling up towards Hell to get the frags.
Yeah, Millie going all the way down short and back up to long to cover off. And like you say, the double on the Hell, you don't generally expect it, because you generally expect the one to be in the corner straight around from Link, which is where he checked straight away, which is why he got shot in the back. And then they're thinking, okay, we got our man. Look, you see, he instantly looks away. It's like, right, okay, let's look down long. There's one down long. Oh, there's a second here. Didn't expect that. So I mean, a massive bonus round for Way2French there. You know, they didn't commit any resources into that round other than just the utils they bought. So now they can buy themselves into the Phantoms. The flash goes down long just to stop their rot. And it will slow them down. Aldron's going to be the one that peaks and the rotates come through. But look at the information. The big run from Inox, I think it is, going straight through window. He's going hunting around the back.
Yeah, they open up really fast there towards that C side. That means all 5 of them are going to push forward now towards C. Big flank coming in as well from the Phoenix of Inox. But everybody dropping like flies, so that's going to cancel out this flank so quickly, especially after he breaks the trap wire that gives his position away. So Mill immediately kills him, leaving KP by himself. Trap wire immediately broken, or the camera, whatever it was. Yeah, it was the camera. And now only with the ghost even position revealed. These guys are not joking around. So they're just trying to hunt him down, and they really want to seal the deal. Maybe a little bit better than they did on Ascent.
Trying to get those attacking rounds in. I mean, getting the 4 on the scoreboard already is good, but once Oxygen get the weapons in the next round, we'll see how it works out. They certainly look decent enough. We know they've got the abilities in them, but it does seem that Way2French on the attack have started off strong here with just, what, 6 kills in the opening 4 rounds.
Spike going off. He didn't really invest in any armor either, so just gonna keep that 500 that he got from the Ghost. Moving into the next, finally the money should be back on track now for the defenders. As now we're switching over to the operator at the same time too. You know what? I feel like the Cyrex skin is probably a bundle, because now I saw a Sheriff Cyrex, I saw an operator Cyrex. I'm gonna open Valorant as soon as we're done casting, because I think I might have to spend some of my casting money.
You see it in there, he's thinking, hang on a minute. Okay, big boost from Jerk.
I love this one.
There is one that's going to check it actually, and it will see over the smoke, of course.
Yeah. And that's what I want to talk about with Simo yesterday. So sometimes you have a small boost and you have the operator on the top of the box, but when the smoke comes down, you barely see any players walk through, right? Or you see the top of the hat if they don't hug the wall. If not, you don't see them. And then now you have this boost of a stage wall on top of that. You see everything of everybody's crossing over. But at least it's going to be a Recon Owl that's going to come out first. And there you go. Spots the head and credit is down. But the wall's been broken too.
Yeah, I mean, the wall already gone, but luckily for him, Incred peeked out. Ironically baited out by the server that came, because he had no intention of peeking before that.
True, true.
But managed to see him before the smoke actually deployed. Sky smoke there. KP missing the first shot. Cats go wild, wild, chasing a ball around the lounge. Emilio pushes straight through, gets KP down, and this is looking like another great attacking round here for Way2French. As they've already got positional play, but Nano can't manage to land his shots, does finally find the head of Inox, but it cost him too many bullets, and DSK flushes straight through. The spike planted, they're all at A-Link. Not convinced by this defense.
Yeah, that's an interesting one here. I guess because the stage wall went towards that left side, and they could actually go for a trade-off, but simple things like this. Smoke that's going to come down, they're going to have to rush through it. A molly on the ground as well, but Milo still gets the spray. He gets a wall bang onto Inox, of course, because that was spotted. You saw the outline, easy kill. Nobody's on the defuse yet. Jerks gets that first frag. That's going to be it. That spike is going to go off. Milo trying to get this kill. Jerk staying alive, saving this operator. No, he dies. I thought he was in a good enough position by the window to not get picked, but he did.
Yeah, and lost the operator, and that's going to cost them. Yeah, that's going to cost them. They can't buy into this round unless they force something, which it looks like they may do. Yeah, they're going to be forcing with half armors at best. But yeah, there's the shot. You can see just catches a glimpse of the heads. But, I'm not sure. I mean, hey, it worked only by the fact that they just simply all shot through smoke.
Yeah, but you saw that too, right there, D-Man? You saw that ping that went through from the point of view of Melio when he sprayed it as well.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why you kind of try to hold it back too. You know a smoke's going to come down. It's actually planted in the open too, where nobody's going to try to go for any tricky things that's going to hide around the corner and their body's not sticking out while they're diffusing. So I understand that fact now that they had the 3 stacked towards the A-Link and played it super passively.
Worked out 5-0. What a stunning attacking start by Way2French so far. Millie going straight through. Checks down towards double. All cleared out. They won out just about every duel. They went for the default and won out every single aim duel. It's the way it is. And that was Oxygen forcing into this, by the way. They came in with half armors and everything, so they got nothing for the next round.
Yeah, and even you see how Moon's pushing towards the action, actually, after his teammates have fallen. So I don't know if he's trying to upgrade something from the Spectre to something else, but it's not looking good at all here. Actually, he has a Phantom, so who knows what's going to happen at this point. I mean, 6-0 now for Way2French. We've seen this scenario before. Okay, it is a Spectre. Jesus Christ. Sometimes when the skin is so similar, it's hard to make it out, but it is a Phantom. It is a Spectre. But yeah, so it's going to be 6-0. We've seen this scenario before for Oxygen Supremacy on that previous map. So there's still a chance here that they're able to take the attacker side. Like you said here, at this point, sometimes when you're playing or choosing a map, you want to choose the easier side. I don't know if the easier side for Oxygen Supremacy was defense at this point, because I've seen some good strats that they have on the attacker side.
We'll see. They're going to have to certainly go for it, but this is... I mean, they've invested everything again. It's Operator. Yeah, I've got a full rifle. I thought their economy was broke. Maybe I was reading it wrong.
So maybe it was a Phantom that he saved. You know what?
No, it was not a Phantom. It was not a Phantom. It was definitely a Spectre. There's no doubt about that one. Yeah, you're not going crazy. This is
maybe it's late. I don't know. For you,
pushing through smokes here. They're pushing through smokes into A long. Kind of surprised me. Showstopper. Oh, he whiffed the Showstopper. Caught the wall. KP just. Oh, KP. Why would you push through your own cage trap? Oh.
I don't know.
I mean,
surprise attack again. I think. Like
so
kind of like what we saw. Yeah.
And then does that.
But maybe that's what it was, right? They're trying to go for the surprise element, trying to desperate measures, kind of like what they did when they double pushed through a cyber cage on the B side of Ascent. Trying to do the same thing with a high cost, high risk, high reward, but the reward wasn't there. So he falls down early. We're going to get the orbital strike too. That's going to put Inox out of position, but still in a good one is Moon. That's in the 50 corner on the right side at the entrance of B. Gets 2 kills traded out by Incred. Now it's a 3 versus 3 situation. A big flank coming in from the breach of DSK. He's going to have to break the trap wire, so that gives his position away. We're going to have a close range battle very soon as Incred wins that one. Last 2 now spotted on the top at Heaven. I think from that Brimstone, you still have a Molly, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why you see him following all the way back towards A. Could be a set nade, set Molly coming in from the spawn. That's going to go right onto the spike. Yeah, but look, the Molly's going to fall, right?
Yeah, Melio's there as well. So Jerk gets the 1 down long.
There you go.
Realizes he's also got 1 eye, yeah, and the Molly, he's going to push in to try and get it, but Incred's just going to sit back. He knows the timing on that Molly. Yeah, Jerk's going to have to run and save, and it's going to be a 7-0 start. That is incredible stuff for Way2French. But, you know what? They had 10-2. They had 10-2 on Ascent. So I'm not writing Oxygen off here. It seems America likes to attack.
Oh yeah. And I was a little bit nervous because I called the Molly onto the spike, but it took a while before it went down. I wonder if when somebody was sticking it, if somebody else lost that battle on that attempt at the defuse, right? Where you had that person on Heaven coming down, could have gone halfway where they kind of try to, if they had full HP with a heal, is it good enough to go for a 2.5 second defuse? I don't know, because the Molly take is still very fast, right? So as soon as you keep that Brimstone alive, it's very, very hard to play the retake on the A side. That's something new since the last patch, or since we saw Pride from 100 Thieves in North America do it in T1, that a lot of teams are adopting that right now, which makes it very hard to retake A side.
Do they see the tripwire? I don't think they've seen it. Pushes into it. Melio baited by his own tripwire there. And then he'll just back away. Managed to steal the 1 kill, back off. So that's the real first time they've gone full on aggression down the scene. It's netted them a kill, but as you see, Jbzzz gets straight back, gets the resurrect back on. Nothing gained other than just an ulti being used. With a 7-0, they're not going to be too worried about that.
Yeah. Ultimate use, armor lost. That's a small victory at least for the defender side, but you need to get the rounds in now for Oxygen Supremacy. And Inox is going to go for the hero play. Curveball to come out, sees nobody there. We do have an orbital strike from Moon as well to be locked down towards the front of B as we are falling back. Inox pushing down through the garage from that as well. Gets 2 kills, but traded out by Incred. Then Incred pushes inside the garage and takes down Moon. So they open up the garage side. We have a lurker inside C. It opens it up as well. Now we have a lurker in B from Nano, as the spike will get planted here for, seems like the spawn side / garage side.
Ooh.
But KP's coming up on the big flank.
Yeah, nobody's looking this
quick.
way. Nobody's expecting this. Nobody's looking. Incred's looking away. They're all looking towards spawn, and KP's in on site. They have no idea. Is he just going to walk past Incred? Oh no, he's walked past Incred. Incred will see him, but he did manage to get Emilio down. And now, of course, he's got the support. Nano gets around and will get Jerk in the back. And Incred, MVP so far in this 2 maps. He has been solid, picking up the big important rounds when they count. 8-0 start is superb on the attack, and well, you can see what Oxygen are forced to do. They've got the single Phantom for Inox, and he may, you know, he's just going to keep it. Okay, okay, everybody play off Inox then. What's Inox going to do? Just back him up. Yeah, it's going to be a long push, but sadly, no one there. It's going to be C.
Trigger discipline, rather, could have been so huge. Imagine if they actually walked into that one and he actually looked left and right before. Just to get those 2 kills, I think it would have been impossible for Nano to actually try to go back for that big flank. But Use, following up on that Owl drone, gets the first opener, looks left on that 50, takes down DSK, and that's the C site open. And now you see the last 3 guys probably /saving / looking for exits, hurting the economy. I don't think you can hurt the economy at this point because Way2French won 8 rounds in a row.
Oh no, flashed up and he gets him. Oh, Inox, when it's not working for you, that was the one single Phantom they had. And yeah, that's just the way it is sometimes. Caught out flash. We had it, I think it was the quarterfinals, where somebody was just sit there one tapping through a smoke just with the Vandal, and he got a 4K. And he was just literally tap, 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 and they just kept passing by and he kept getting heads. It was just like, okay, it's just that just happened, right? And sometimes the flash is, you know, when you get flashed, you just shoot if you've got the right cursor position, which these guys at this level will always have, be holding the right cursor position, he's going to just be shooting at that spot. And if you push into it, well, it's going to cost you. 9-0, Way2French running away with the attack inside.
Yeah, this is definitely hurting here for Oxygen Supremacy. It's their map pick, and somehow they can't really defend whatever is being used right now by Way2French. And now, desperate times calls desperate measures. We had debates where we kind of hated to see 2 operators because it's too gimmicky and it's too easy. Well, let's go easy mode as much as we can now for Oxygen Supremacy, trying to get the last 3 rounds. We have a triple off.
Oh dear. I mean, so we discussed this the other day. I think it was the semi-finals. We maybe saw it. No, it was the quarters. Basically, you got diminishing returns when you have that many operators in play because you're down to too many one-shot heroes, effectively. And while it is great and it can get you that one-shot insta-kill result, if you get rushed down, then you've got nothing to slow them. And if you've got too many in that position, the irony is that it's going to work and it's going to pick up their first round, unless something goes wild here with Incred again and Nano. But no, there we go. All right. You know what? Sure, make it work.
Yeah, and so far, the dink, long range, a second one in the face of DSK, trying to battle back against Jerk with the operator towards the other side, wall bang, but misses the shot rather. The thing is, though, when you look at this, is that they only encountered 2 out of the 3 operators from that last round. I guess they encountered 3? They lost one at the beginning? No, that's it. They only encountered 2, because the third one was DSK, right? And DSK got picked on the C side right here. So they didn't really know that a triple op was actually set up here on the defender side. So they might still have a chance to try to go back for a double op setup if they wanted to in the last round of the first half, because I don't think they have enough money to go for another triple op. But at least Way2French does know that they're encountering 2 ops.
Yeah, and I don't think has Millie really been going for the op? I don't think he has he?
No, not as much.
Oh, that was a nice flash, but again, you know, that's the annoyance, and I think actually why a lot of people haven't been playing on him. The fact that you go for that flash and you push around, and basically everyone just pre-fires. It's like, I'm flash, I'm on fire. And so often it's just that trade. Oh, KP, you're caught out. Incred will get himself the orbital strike down, and that's one of the operators down. Oh no, Incred catches Moon as well on the escape. Those paint shells are going to go straight through and force them away. It's Jerk that's having to go into heaven, but the spike plant comes in. And this is looking like a 10-1 unless Jerk can land some of these big flick shots. He's already backing away, and it's a save. It's 10 rounds on the attack. That is massive.
Yeah, and even making the defense tuck away, curl away, and hide for the last and final round because Inox is already down to 100 credits. They desperately need these two last guns to move into the last round of the first half. Oh man, it's not looking good at all here for Oxygen Supremacy. But like I said, they have some tricks. I've mentioned before on the attacker side, what they like to do once in a while. They've done it only once a map. On the attacker side is having the garage control. Once they go through garage, they jump through the window, then they wall up the B link so they could get into B to plant. Yeah, unfortunately they lost one of the weapons.
Got the operator off Jerk.
Yeah. Cat said desperately, and they weren't desperate enough.
Yeah, I mean, he's got nothing. He's got nothing. That's cost him a weapon, cost him a big weapon. And now in the final round of the half, he's coming in with a simple pistol and a big potential on 11-1 here unless they can get an early pick. He's coming in with, what did he have there? Was it the Spectre or what did...
Don't ask me that, dude.
I didn't quite catch what he picked up. I'm just
kidding. I saw Stingers, I saw Stingers, I saw Phantoms, and I saw Vandals. Yeah.
It was just the Stinger I think he picked up in the end, yeah. Which is the cheaper one, right? Yeah.
You're asking the guy that had a hard time seeing if it was a Phantom or a Spectre, so...
You can't even say it's getting late. It's like...
No, I know. It's like 7:17 for me. The thing that I don't like is because, you know, when you switch players, you see the weapons that they have, but the overlay disappears right after a few seconds. So that's why when you're trying to think quick and talk at the same time, you kind of like just doubt yourself after.
Well, the overlay will only ever say Phantom. That's all it says. It just always says Phantom. It's stupid. So unless we see the tab, like, and you can only hold it for so long. But anyway, where's this going to go? They haven't actually got one in the initial picks, which is good for Oxygen Supremacy. They've got to play this one passive, and that's, I would say, a big difference that I've been seeing between EU and NA. Sometimes the passive defenses have been absolutely phenomenal. Like Fabrican are really good at that. Oh, nice push through by Nano there. You know, sometimes the rush through the smokes, it just pay off, and obviously when you've got a double, triple pushing through, it works out. But look at the backstab. DSK, oh, he's going to be annoyed that he didn't get double laid down there. Incred once again comes in. KP trying to get the taps. Not going to work out for him with the spike down. Melio in window, causing problems. Jerk gets Inox back off on his feet in this final round. They have to try and do what they can. They're both pushing from A-Link. All three of them coming in now, rushing into the site. There's one, as you say, just sitting tucked in on site. It's going to be Incred. Jbzzz is there with the crossfire as well. Melio comes out and they don't end up getting anything. A big oof with an 11-1 half going to Way2French after they picked up the first map. If they get the pistol here, it's done.
Yeah. And the good thing for Way2French is that every single player on that 3 versus 3 got a kill to seal the deal on that first half. That means they're oozing confidence right now in this second half. And now can you see, D-Man, why they actually enjoy playing Haven?
I mean, as Oxygen, do they realize they're not on Ascent anymore? They did change map. it's like someone tell them. Because
we're telling them now. We're telling them now.
They've just not been able to get anything working. That's been the big part. It does seem that obviously once they get the operators, they seem comfortable, but you can't rely on that, unfortunately, because you only get those operator plays when you're already doing well. It's unfortunately for them hasn't worked out, and the attacking style of Oxygen has been strong, but it does look like they're going to be rushing into C.
No, see that smoke? You see that the wall's going to come up right after. So they're actually pulling it right away.
B.
So they take control here of this window. There's that wall. They move into the link. Usually they use this towards a gun round. But because they're so desperate, they got to pull it out right away to at least try to guarantee a round in their favor. So they go for that wall. They close in towards B. They even plant for that front. They have great post-plant positioning so far.
Yeah.
They have a chance now.
That's a nice spread. That's a really nice spread. Good defensive move in the end. Should net them the round. Miller gets DSK down though. Still got a lot of work. And now with the Sky Smoke down, there's the molly. That went a little early. It's going to run out. They're going to have still time to get in and get the defuse. And now they've got to try and body block it. They've got to try and body block the defuse. The second comes in. Of course, this is the bonus of having a Felix in there alongside. And now instead they have to go for the shots. Not going to land it. Inox will come out on top. Yeah, that's the post-plant situation when you have Incendiary and damn it, I can't even remember the name of the Phoenix one. Yeah, Hot Hands, yeah. That you have effectively double molly to buy you so much time.
That's it. It's showing right now that, you want to save these mollies, these hot hands moving into the later rounds now. Before, it was just like, okay, well, let's try to molly through a smoke to prevent any type of pushes. Let's try to molly to try to clear out areas. But now you're starting to see that because there's really nothing that could cancel a molly or a hot hands or a snake bite on the ground, then you want to try to utilize those as post-plant situation as like kind of mini orbital strikes to prevent people from defusing. Oh. Right, this round, it's something common that we see as well from Way2French on an Eco on Haven. They always push as a group down towards Long C. It was weighted by Moon, who only gets 2 kills. They salvage a Bulldog on top of that, though. And now Jerk is just going to try to watch that flank.
I mean, at least from that side, Oxygen Supremacy have obviously done the homework. They were clearly ready for that from Way2French. And plant down, job done. Only got themselves the 1 kill, and away they go. See if they can rescue a weapon from him. I guess they got the 1. Didn't see whether it was just a Bulldog, though, because it was only from the second round. But we'll make it 11-3. Still a long way to go.
Oh, yeah. I was just trying to think at the same time, too, while I was talking about this, about how it's impossible to, like, counter the mollies, the snake bites, and the hot hands on a spike. I'm trying to figure out if the next agent... I know some people have talked about it before. Wow, nice kills by DSK. But some people have talked about it before. Maybe it could be an operator, the next one that comes out, that has that type of ability that throws something on the ground that cancels it out too, right? But what would the ultimate be? Would the ultimate be, like, kind of throw a dome onto the... onto a certain area that damages down the AoE from, let's say, an orbital strike? That would be pretty cool. I don't know. But we need that type of support player, a new support player that could really counter these mollies.
Yeah, absolutely. Like cools it down, like almost like the Sage ice goes down and it like stops it, counters it or something like that.
Yeah.
Basically like the smoke, right? The smoke in CS. It goes on
exactly.
top.
And even something that could cancel out the frost orb too. Like if you're trying to rush through, it gets onto the ground, you could just run instead of having to walk on ice.
This is so risky. They're sticking with the bonus round. They're sticking with the Spectres. And at 11-3, I'm not sure they can afford to do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
They've got the Bulldogs you can see with Jerk. This is so risky by Oxygen to do this into the rifle round. Ordinarily, sure, but when you're in a situation where you're basically looking at match point if you fail, oof. Oh, hello. He has orbital strike. I was just wondering, did he really sense something at double doors? But they've already pushed through. DSK getting baited. Does get the orbital strike down before he died, which is what he was pulling out. So kind of sensed it was coming, I guess. Put it down on his body. Must have been very quick reactions, but Jbzzz, oh my word, on sight, cuts them down and takes it to match point 12-3. And yes, they were on the bonus. Yes, they can afford to reinvest in this next round, but that's so
not that much.
Risky. No, not a lot. I guess they must have lost a few, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing that sucks, though, is the Sage Wall went up as soon as the orbital strike was done. So you should have known that Jbzzz was somewhere inside that site. And they walked into it where they both stood at default instead of really trying to have the non-spike carrier trying to get the information and clear out the area. At least both of them trying to peek, I think, getting some information.
Because he was so fast to get the wall down and move positions back around the boxes, I think they just assumed he was at spawn at sort of direction. Yeah. Which is why they were all looking that way. And I think they were just also in a rush to try and get the plant down.
Yeah, hindsight. But 12-3, already to 1 down for each player. 1 player down for each team, rather. Made that 2 with the advantage for Oxygen Supremacy.
He knows Millie's there. He's waiting for him. Should be able to find him, and he will get him. Jerk. Big work from the Jerk there. No. Going, looking. Starting to play aggressive, and it nets him a result as he gets KP down. Ooh, tagged in the back, though, by Jerk, just coming into window. But now both in position, and they're walking into the B play. It's going to be all on Nano. He finds the spike carrier. We'll get the second down as well as Jerk peeks out, throws out the satchel charges to try and bait it out. DSK's trying to look to flash in. There's another blast pack comes his way. Now the boom bot. Oh no! And Yuz backs it up, come through double doors, and that is done. 13-3, a whitewash on Haven. I questioned their choice of this. I was wrong to question it, that's for sure.
Definitely one-sided there for Way2French. Big congratulations to them, because that means beating now Oxygen Supremacy 2 maps out of 3. A third map is not needed. So they are crowned the VALORANT Trovo Challenge, the North America champions, crowning the victory for this tournament and also winning $5,000 for the team.
Yeah, cleanly as well, 2-0. I would say cleanly. It was a 13-12. It was a very tight first map. Wow. Okay, let's have a look at some of the highlights from that map. It's all about the attacking half, of course. 11-1 attacking half. 10 rounds, I think, before they even got one on the board.
Yeah, it took a long time for them to wake up, Elise. I mean, I thought the momentum was going to come there, unfortunately, for Oxygen Supremacy after such a close victory. Almost tasting victory and not getting it. I thought they'd be hungry or hungrier in the second map. But getting 8-0, 9-0, 10-0 before getting a point. Oh man, unfortunate there that they weren't, they didn't really show up on that second map. They did whatever they can. The triple up setup did work for them. Maybe they should have went for double up setup earlier in the matchup. So yeah, it was 9 rounds before they actually got 1 round there for Oxygen Supremacy. But you cannot discredit them. They're still doing very good in this tournament, getting second place, $1,800 for the team, as well as a chance possibly for these two teams to have a rematch next weekend, as the Pulse Invitational is coming up too, where these two teams are invited.
Yeah, solid performance overall. I look forward to seeing how these teams could develop. You know, obviously, we've already seen a lot of the North American orgs collecting teams up there, but there's a lot of orgs out there that are still awaiting teams. So picking up a result like this can be massive for these sort of teams. You know, $5,000 obviously is fantastic for them, but it's the glory that goes with it. It's like, we won this tournament. You can take that to orgs now and say, hey, we've won this big tournament. It's a 256 team tournament, and we came out on top as the North American winners. And obviously, you know, you can wave your Canadian flag at the same time.
Definitely. Une très grande fierté canadienne et québécoise. Pretty much right now is what I was meant to say. So big pride, coming in from the French Canadians, from the Quebec scene. Big win there for the French Canadians, for Way2French. Pretty much the third French Canadian team here in North America that we have in Valorant. So a big congratulations to them. Want to give a big congratulations as well to Trovo for putting such an awesome tournament. And all that is also thanks to GLL, the platform that we're using for the qualifiers, for the bracket. Make sure you guys check them out at play.gll.gg/Valorant, because they are going to have daily Valorant tournaments pretty much happening starting next week. So make sure you guys get all the information there so you could sign up your team to play. And 2 more shout outs. The next one is going to be to you, Demand. Thanks a lot for having me. It's been a while since we casted together. Super fun that we get to cast together as well after all these years. So it brings out a lot of years. It brings us a lot of good memories. And at the same time, I could tell that within 18 years, we still haven't changed. We're still beautiful human beings. We don't even look old.
We're as young as we were back then.
And my last shout out, of course, well, actually 2 more. Last one to the chat, of course, for hanging out here on the Trovo chat at trovo.live, brand new streaming platform. Make sure if you guys want to check it out too, you could create your account very easily and start streaming. And last but not least, to the production team who's been a warrior throughout the whole weekend. I think they started like, what, at noon your time?
Yeah.
European time, and then go to bed like at 6 a.m. as well. So they're running like 12-hour shifts throughout the whole weekend, every single time for Friday to Sunday. So a big shout out to you guys as well, to my cat David and crew as the observers in production.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Black Molly Entertainment and the guys behind the scenes. I've done many an event with them where we've done almost 20-hour shifts. So this felt like a light one for them. I gotta be honest. Either way. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I don't know when we'll see you next. Someplace, somewhere. I hope we'll be together as well, Van Silly. Until then, good night.